Let me know if you hear volume.
I agree. Want to move down? Yeah, Frank's over there. Sure. We're going to understand. Everybody like so far?
Good morning. I'm going to be very straight. So first off, I'm sorry that we are behind this morning. I just conducted a mini discussion, and it's I'm a little bit upset. So I'm going to start the meeting. I wanted to apologize for that. This is going to be our, this meeting is going to be recorded. I'm going to call the meeting. Do we have one?
We have everything done.
Oh, this is Joanna.
Sorry, we just need a few minutes to reorganize. So let's just hold here's let's
We
get.
haven't started yet. So,
Yes, I need a minute.
all right. So I'm getting Joanne. I got Frank. Getting Frank.
Mike will check.
Pat, you call Mike Wilczek.
Oh, you want me to?
You call Mike Wilczek, and I'm going to call Joanne. We're gonna, so what we're doing now is there's three members that are gonna participate telephonically. But, so I'm calling Joanne, Pat's gonna call Mike Wilczek, and we got Frank DeVito on the line.
Mike, we're getting started. Okay. Put it on speaker.
So put it near a speaker so that everyone can hear. Can you hear Joanne?
You there, Mike? I'm like, this one getting started. I think I lost you. Okay, so I can have that. Here, can you hear?
Okay, John, Joanne, you're on your speakerphone, and we're gonna get ready to start the meeting. Can you, can everybody here say something, Joanne?
Good morning.
Everyone's here? Okay.
Mike, can you say something too?
Put it near a speaker.
Can I say something? Yes. I'm here.
Yeah, you'll probably have to hold it to that little speaker when he talks.
Good.
When he talks.
I can't hear you.
Okay.
Frank, can you confirm for me that you hear Wade talk? And then Pat, if Mike can't hear Wade talk, you need to put that from here as well.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
Nobody's
we're
saying
doing the same.
We're just getting organized. I needed to set up for
All right,
taking
so we
minutes
got,
and everything.
all right, CNN's over here now.
And then wait for the reference on people on the phone, if there's a question that you need to repeat so they can hear you directly, because they may not hear all of us.
Okay, I'll.
Okay.
All right, we'll try this again. So y'all know that there was a delay.
We call the meeting to order.
I'm going to call the meeting to order, January 17th. The board, and it's going to be, this meeting is recorded, so everybody be aware of that. We're going to conduct it in accordance with the Robert's rules and our bylaws. Open the meeting. I'm going to go ahead and do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So the first order, we need to accept the minutes. So first off, we got a quorum. I just said we have 6 of us present and 3 on telephonic, attending telephonically.
How many online, Jen?
43.
We have 43 online, and we have about, how many do we have in the audience security? So we'll get that number too. And I'm glad everybody made it here safe and sound. It was that kind of,
29.
how many?
29.
29. So, all right, so let's, glad we got a bumper car here. That's, mute your speakers on your phones, board members telephonically attending. And then unmute when you speak. Acceptance of the minutes for December 13th. Well, I have to get a motion for that.
I so move.
I'll second the motion.
And Mike V, seconds. Any discussion on the minutes?
I'll second.
You already seconded.
Oh, Mike's already
Mike's done it. So there's no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Those online?
Those online?
Aye.
I hear, all right.
We'll check.
We'll check.
Aye.
All right, okay, all three.
That's okay, thank you.
All right, our next meeting is February 21st, 2026. And our next one after that is March 21st, 2026. So, for the chair's comments, like I just said, we have a lot of activities that we can't really discuss. They're ongoing. Majority, I'm the acting manager. The good news with that, there's the search for the new manager is well underway. We have about 3 that are pre-screen, going into a screening phase. So I'm very happy about that. It's the first one. We did have one that was really a good candidate, but it was, would have been probably perfect, but it was 50,000 higher than our highest budget figure.
Could you speak up just a little bit, please?
Somebody told me about that, and I'm not going to back away from this thing, so I'm sorry. Thank you, Sean. So the search is underway, and some progress has been made. The community, I've been receiving a lot of complaints and calls because of social media activity, which I want everybody to know that our code of conduct, we cannot, and been told we should not be exchanging on unofficial websites. And so you shouldn't see anybody from the board doing that. You shouldn't. Doesn't mean it. There are rights that people have, but just wanted to say that we're not supposed to be online. The other is, we're getting letters and complaints because some of the big actions that we've taken in the last 2 months. what, you know, the dues and discount removal is a contentious item. But again, that was taken into consideration, both our legal rights to do so, and it was not a dues increase, it was a level set. We did not raise dues for the majority of the public. We reset those that were getting a discount. Obviously, the people may not agree, and there's processes for that.
Could you explain how you guys figured that out?
What necessitated it? According to the letter I got, you were financially solvent.
We are solving.
You know, you're putting it on the backs of 10% of the people in the community. Here I am, I bought a lot 37 years ago with the intentions of building a house here. It won't perk. It won't perk. For 27 years, I didn't even take the discount. Finally went out, got the discount. I can never build on this lot. By the way, my name is Daniel Sabar, 716 Chipmunk Lane. I can never build on it. All I have is a glorified swim club membership here. And you're going to charge me $1,300 a year on a lot that I can never build on and that I've been paying on for 37 years? I'm stuck here in perpetuity. Where am I going to go? Nobody wants to buy it. I tried to sell it. Nobody wants to buy it. If I don't pay my dues, what are you going to do? Put a lien against me?
No, put a lien against the house.
What house? I don't have a house on
Where
it.
you live?
I can't build a house on it. It's almost as if...
All right, so I gave you the floor for a minute.
Yes,
We
I'm
do
quiet now.
We have an agenda, and we're going to try to stick to it. Like I said, I'm already aware of this.
Yeah, but where's it leave me? And property owners like me, who can never build a house in here on their lot, and I'm paying the same HOA dues as a guy who can build a house on his lot if he decides, or sell it for a profit. I can't sell it, let alone for a profit. It's going to cost me money to get rid of it. Where's that leave a landowner like me? Where's it leave me? Is that fair? I realize life ain't fair.
Well, I don't know. I know you don't think it's fair.
No.
I'm thinking, and it's actually about 14% of the community members. So the board, I personally took it at heart, and I know that I have to make decisions that sometimes there's going to be no matter what I decide, it's not going to be good. Somebody's going to be upset. And I'm representing the other 86% as well, who have been paying the higher dues all of these years. You just said 38.
How was it higher? How was it higher? I own a house in I paid my fair share too. So how is it higher? I got no discount for the lot with the home
There's
on
no
it.
breakdown.
I pay the same as everyone else.
If you need, well,
So where is the discount for holding a piece of dirt? It's holding a piece of dirt that you're penalized.
Stuck here in perpetuity, paying you, paying the county, paying the school district, paying the township for 37 years on a lot that I can't even build on. I sucked it up for years. For years I sucked it up. And then when I figured I was going to get a bill for less than $700 and it turned out into $1,386, I flipped out.
okay, let's time out for a second here.
I think,
I want to know the reasoning behind it.
and I think you should. And Wade,
Go ahead.
as chairman and acting manager, is giving the updates from those, which is, can I have the microphone so that people can hear me? I'm sorry. You know, he's acknowledging we have received numerous complaints, concerns, significant concerns, and thank you for illustrating, you know, one perspective of those. Are you okay? We're going to continue with the agenda. We need to go through the business as it dictates. There is a section for members' comments towards the end, so we'll have, you know, the ability for everybody to kind of weigh in.
I'll be
and
quiet.
go from there. But I appreciate you acknowledging that space, but if we can just conduct the business in the normal manner, that'll be helpful.
Thanks, Sherry.
We're all emotional. There's a lot going on, so.
And I want to make sure everybody else.
Especially 40%.
Well, it's a 14% increase, but you remember that increase, you say it's an increase, and I'm just trying to say it's a level set. So the person sitting next to, that just had one line, if it's two lots you saw, it had a discount. But the guy that didn't have but one lot, and only one lot, he was paying 18% more. Why was he having to pay 18% more? Because he doesn't have, That's the level set. That's why I'm trying to make it very clear. This is not, we're being a level set to make it fair across the board for the community as the whole.
Well, I mean, I guess no one knows what the level, at least I don't know what the level set is. I've been here 27 years. Mine went up $400. I owed a half lot, much like this gentleman next to me, which is unbuildable. We already paid the dues for that lot. We don't get anything special for it. I can't drive down my roads. It's never been paid in 27 years. And now I'm supposed to pay an extra $400 a year. For what? Nothing. And you don't even explain it. You sit up here and say, oh, it's only 14% of the community. Well, what's the baseline? Why am I being charged? You just get a bill. There's no
What's your
explanation.
name, and please stand up and give me your address.
Paul Kelly, 138 Sell Lake.
Paul Kelly, you came into the office, I remember this.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So, we can start again. We can definitely and should definitely be able to give more information to make it clear and so people can understand why we did this and what those numbers should be. They should be mathematically sound, and it should be clear. You may not like it still, but other people are paying more. So, and we didn't want to, 85% of the community essentially did not get a dues increase.
But you just keep saying people are paying more. I have no idea what Kelly pays.
Are they people who are paying more to have a house on their lot?
A house and or a lot.
And or a lot that may perk,
Or may not.
or may not.
And we get into
So,
services.
here I am, in the community, with a lot that
So
won't
what I'm
perk.
gonna get, so I'm gonna go ahead, we have, at the end of this session, there's gonna be after new business. We then, where is it?
Number 6, members' comments.
Okay, members, okay. We do have members' comments at the end. So all we're gonna do is go through and do business.
The manager shares comment.
I mean, I just was saying, I spent most of this month going through duty discounts, issues, meetings with members, and then, of course, the HR issues that are ongoing, which I can't talk about. So it's like, everything that we do, it's like, I can't talk about it. All right. So I'm gonna go right to the treasurer's report. Joanne?
Yeah, hi. So we ended the year with the surplus. We ended the year, we brought in $663 million in income, and our expenses were $2,700,357, for a surplus of $177,305. However, some of that money actually is designated to capital. We didn't use any of our contingency funds, so that will be redirected to reserve. Every year we hold out a certain percentage of the budget into contingency in case we have any overages, which we did not. And then we end up with a surplus of approximately $55K, which is where we'll have to decide where that's designated. Typically, the surplus is earmarked for the reserve fund. So the good news at the end of this year is there's actually $100,000 going into the reserve. That could have been used for other expenses or for the other domestic contingency. We ended up with capital at $1,117,000 for the end of the calendar year. Last year we had $1,190,000. These numbers are pretty irrelevant to the general public, but people like that represent them on the treasurer report because they don't tell us what we spent this year. Overall, at the end of the year for reserve, we're about $200,000 over where we were last year. And if we put it on $100,000 in, we approximately started out reserve, for this year with $1.4 to $1.5 million. And this year, instead of having just $275,000 a year mark for reserve, we're looking at about $100,000. So depending on what the expenditures were, we do have projects outlined in both the reserve and capital, buildings and grounds to weigh in on where we're at with specific projects. We look like we're in a pretty good financial situation coming into the reserve and capital funding this year. That's about that. I don't have any other comments. Thanks, babe.
Was any of that provided in report for the members?
Is there a financial report in the back?
There should be.
Yes, it was attached in the back, yes.
There is. There is.
I'll get a copy of that.
Okay, we'll go into the committee reports. I think we can take over for Finance Committee.
Thanks, Wade. For the Finance Committee, we have a intention, I guess, of meeting in 2026. Yet to be determined an exact date in January or into February. The discussions were to go over financials, go over variance report, go over treasurer's report. I guess all the extra activity in the office. We haven't received any variance reports. Haven't really received anything to bring to a committee. So I guess we'll start off 2026 a little later, but have a committee form. At this time, I do have to unfortunately step down as chair for personal reasons. I have family members in the hospital and looking at assisted living, and I need to devote time to family. So I appreciate you nominating me a while back and chairing the committee for so long, but we do have a co-chair, and the chair has the ability to assign a new chair. So I appreciate the time that's been afforded to me, but I have to unfortunately take a step back.
Okay. Is Bob Grasek here today? He was just on a cruise. He's your co-chair. Okay. All right, well, security. Security, President, do you have any updates? Brian? Oh.
Closer to you, though.
Brian?
All right, good morning, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Brian Coyle. I've been an owner in the village for 20 years. Before that, I used to rent here, and as an owner, I also rented my house in the previous years. For those who don't know me, my background started when I was very young. I worked as a cadet for 6 years in high school with the police department. I was in loss prevention for 3 years about safety, theft concerns, cameras, surveillance. I have 34 years in law enforcement, and I'm still in law enforcement now in various units, mostly crime fighting, dignitary protection, escorts, etc. I'm also an instructor with the state. I had 8 years with a private firm as well as an instructor in security. And I'll bring this out to you so you know my qualifications. I was asked to be head of the committee. I reached out to the whole committee with Andy Gross. I asked Andy to still stay on as co. And I reached out to members on the committee as well as some of the board member, and they got back to me. I'd like to hear everybody's concern about what's going on in the village with security and safety. I'm looking over the stats, the forms, the documentation, the incidents, and see where what direction we should be going in and make those recommendations. I've been working with Kyle a lot. We've been going back and forth, sharing ideas and thoughts, and we're going to be bringing a lot more training into our security staff so that they're well equipped for any kind of future incidents. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I know you hooked up with Kyle. You're having meetings with rules and regs. I think you're doing a good job, and thank you.
And I'm also reaching out to any committee that wants to get involved, other committees. Any of your concerns about security and safety, I want everybody included, because everyone has a thought, ideas, and I want to hear them. I want to hear them and include everybody, and the transparency, I'm all about that. I'm all about that. And especially trying to save costs, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
So Lakes and Wildlife, can anybody hear me? Jeff, you come up and take a mic.
Good morning, everyone. Really don't have too much going on with Lakes and Wildlife right now. It's time of year's dull, but anyway, we're planning a lot of things coming up in the near future, and we're going to have our first meeting of the year on February 13th. The location will be discussed later. I'll send it out in an email. Other than that, we have the anglers are out there today in this nice, beautiful weather. They're going to be down the lake and giving a demonstration on ice fishing. So if you have nothing to do today, head on down. I think it'll be a good show for you.
East
All
Lake.
right.
East Lake.
East Lake.
And Jeff, I want to update you that I checked in on the wildlife reports from Hanover, and they're supposed to come in last week. They didn't, so I did check.
State. All right, thank you.
Building and grounds. And Frank, do you have anything on the building and grounds? Did you? Can you hear me? Try again. Say that again.
Can you hear me?
Everybody, can you hear me?
Yes. Good morning. Just wanted to put it out there that over the holiday, that we had a committee. We got done the main office room there. It's definitely a lot cleaner and more vibrant when people come to visit. And just gotta thank some people that helped me with this. Was a couple guys. Was Jeff Hutton, Steve Doherty, Tommy Andrus, Big Bill, our league official Santa. And especially Chuck Clark, who took on the bulk of the work. Because during that time that we were doing this, my mom got sick, and he really took the bull by the horn. So if you see these guys, please reach out and say thank you. They did a nice job. And going forward, the next couple of months with the weather and what I'm dealing with my mom, we don't have anything going on, but we will be getting a plan going forward. That's all, man. Thanks.
Okay, Frank. One of the other things in building and grounds was we did there's a salt shed, and we had approved that last year, and the actual permit on that came in right before Christmas. So we got a permit, but the weather doesn't look, it's not conducive to construction. So there's some other activities that are ongoing there that we're exploring. And we'll be briefing that out in the coming months. Recreation. Oh, excuse me, roads. Roads. Well, right now, roads, they typically, I think they have the first meeting in March. So there'll be a report out in March. Recreation. Hello, Rita.
Hi, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Just to recap of what we have going on, oh, sorry. I'm usually bad enough. New Year's, start with the New Year's Eve party, 103 in attendance, so that was pretty good. We have Valentine's Day party coming up. We'll have a code in there to pay in advance since they want us to start using the catering. We have to get some kind of a head count before we can use catering. Then we have a St. Patty's Day party coming with DJ Frankie, and we have an Easter bunny, the day with the Easter bunny, and Easter egg hunt, egg dying, closer to Easter. So that's all I have. If anybody has any questions.
I got a question right.
Just a quick question. Is that ski slope working out or?
No, it's not working.
No.
I'm going to report out.
Yeah, no, not this week.
Oh, all right, sorry.
Somebody has something. Of course, it's the new year, they're going to get all the snow and rules and regs, Manny?
Good morning. Due to the holidays and other complication, we haven't had any meeting. We will have one the end of this month. However, I really would like the board to send us some feedback on our recommendations, on our minutes, Appendix A, that we spent a lot of time to clarify and cleaning up with the cooperation of the office, board, security, and the hard-working committee. I really would love to have some feedback from the board where we are with some of those recommendations. So in our next meeting, hopefully by the end of this month, we can incorporate it in rules and regulation.
Yeah, and especially at Schedule A, last meeting, we clarified Schedule A to remove the cap on the number of STRs that someone can have, because it was not clear. But the report included an awful lot of good information, recommendations for STR and whatnot. And what we have to do is, instead of, it doesn't, and we try to convey this, but it doesn't just go to the board. We wanted to get the office and get the STR group to look at it as well before, so that there's a joint, so it's a joint effort, and we're inclusive. That's the key. So I apologize for the delay, but that was, the mission at hand was to get clarification. We did that, thank you, and that helped this community. But we have to follow up and with an urgency with the remainder of Schedule A. So
Yeah, I understand, no problem, let me know, and I even have offered the SCO committee, when they have a meeting next time, if they wish for me to attend to answer any question, I'll be more than happy to do that. There was how should I say, there was something that I mentioned, let Sherry know, as long as they don't do what I ask them not to do. As long as they keep the guns at the door. That was my comment to it. But regardless, I'll be more than happy to attend that meeting and answer any question, but I cannot emphasize enough, it wasn't just our committee or a single person. We spent about 6 hours between 3 days.
Yeah, especially on a Saturday, I remember.
Yeah, Saturday, Sunday, honestly, I thought we had to clean it up. Monday, my wife had to go to the office and spend time with the office to clarify a couple of things, and they added some. Security spent an hour with us, so it really was a complete cooperation for us to get it from point A to point B. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Thank you, Manny.
Wait, Mr. Chair, I forgot to tell you something.
The most important thing.
Oh, back to recreation.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just wanted to let everyone know that the kitchen has been deep cleaned by Serpro. They did a wonderful job. We went over it. The satisfactory paperwork should be coming to your office just for a sign off, and then they'll be expecting payment.
Yes, and thank you for all your efforts with that. Yeah, we did a real deep clean for the kitchen, so that we're good for this year. We've also, like I mentioned last meeting, we fixed the oven. It has been not working for a long time.
All the equipment in there is up and running.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay. So bylaw, there's been no activity on bylaws. STR. All right. There you go.
So kind of to follow up on Manny's comments, the rules and regs did a review of Appendix A, have submitted it to the board. The STR committee is waiting to see that so that they can provide their input and such, and have agreed to do a joint session. So we'll have somebody from rules and regs attend the next STR meeting, which will be on January 21st at 7 p.m. via Zoom. And I think that's it.
Toast. All right, Ski Hill. So I do have an update for the Ski Hill. So we actually, SkyTrans did respond back to our telecommunications, and they offered two different companies that would be able to work on the motor. There was a third that was provided, and at the end of the day, so the motor itself, upon further inspection, it looks like there's bare copper on the wiring showing. So one company wanted $2,500 to come out to assess, so that we killed that until an estimate. We wanted them to come out and give us an estimate on replacement of the motor based on the spec. The other was another company would come back out, and then another wanted us to take the motor off and ship it to them for an estimate. And so right now we're pursuing the replacement of it based on a form fit function replacement, and to get an estimate first before we do anything, because we don't have, you're not going to find many winding companies who give a bid, so it might turn into a sole source, but we're looking into it, what it is and what's the odds. I mean, the motor actually was working. The first maintenance call we had out for the wiring, But what it is it's overheating because we believe, this is still, we believe, that
Inspectors look at it last time, so move everything over. You stated it was all tip-top shape.
I did.
2 hours. We can't hear that say.
So it's out of order, So I'll go through that. Okay, that's your one and only warning. You will be removed and you may be fined. You do not curse in this room. Is that understood? Is that understood?
Don't yell at me.
No,
Don't
I
raise
can
your
show you.
voice to me.
I
I don't have a problem with the way I'm speaking.
You do not cuss, but do not cuss in this room. Is that clear?
I guess the forum would be Facebook, like your other board members. I apologize.
Yes. All right. So back to the point was the inspections. So we had inspections every month for operations through the course of the year. We had SkyTrans out realigning. We had state inspection. We then called out some issues, and we actually fixed those. And then we did another inspection, and before every operation there was inspections. So these are things, some things when you fly an aircraft, you think that a pilot will go out, they always do a pre-flight. I'm a pilot, we go pre-flight. Do we still have caution lights and when things happen? They're unplanned, it's unscheduled, it could be catastrophic. But you have to plan for it, but some things just happen. So, and I apologize, I did raise my voice. I apologize to you because I can't believe that it happened. So, I apologize for my behavior. Again, please, we're all neighbors, and that's what I used to always say, we're all neighbors here, so let's try to treat each other and don't think that we're bad. Strategic, I'm going to move to the next ski hill. So did I answer your question, sir?
Yes, you did. I mean, I guess, can it be fixed?
I believe there's $1 million asset there, and I think, they're talking an estimate possibly of 25, but, I want to get it in writing, I don't want verbals. I think it can be fixed.
Okay.
But what I was trying to say is, so the wiring and whatnot, when it was operating, is overheating, and what's going on is it gets so hot, the wiring down at the base of the motor is melting and catching on fire, and then it starts to short out. So that's where, and we held off because we knew there's a thermal issue, and we didn't know what it was, but right now we did find out. So I apologize, but
What did you say the estimate was that they verbally?
it was $2,500 to come out and assess, and that was not the repair. If it's a replacement motor, I don't have a clue. It's going to be more than $2,500.
And
Yes.
something of that caliber would be a board discussion.
That's not a repair, that's a replacement reserve item, and do we continue with the ski hill? I mean, that's, at the end of the day, we don't know. If it's $1 million, I don't think that's gonna happen. But if we can get it done for, I don't know what figure it would be, it's a board decision.
Would they credit the $2,500 towards the repair or any equipment you had to purchase to get it running? Back operational, I should say.
My take was, instead of an assessment, I think that's gonna be probably part of the replacement cost anyways. So we would probably avoid an assessment if they give us an estimate and they pull the motor. I think, we're gonna do this wisely. Maintenance is working with me too on that. I'm not pulling any punches, I'm being sure that's what they said, and we haven't gotten it in writing, and I can't report what I don't have in writing.
Well, that's one of the reasons I bought.
Me too.
Because I rented the house across the street when Tilliard's owned it for 7 years, and we skied out there all the time, back in the late 70s through the 80s.
Yeah, we did spend quite a bit and did a lot of work doing retro on it 2 years ago. We had a minor repair of 800, the same one we had. So this thing existed. The windings apparently started, the insulation around it was degraded. It's hard to do that on a pre-flight or a pre-check. Nobody got hurt, and we got it working for a couple more years. So.
Excuse me, wait, could you clarify? I appreciate what you just said, but originally, the company that was doing the work in the fall They said they weren't available until mid to late January. Did you just cover that, or does that still need to be covered?
Well, I didn't talk about it. So when we had the failure, we contacted Specialty Equipment, which is from Jack Frost. They work with Jack Frost. They're vendors. And Jack Frost, I asked, talked to them. They couldn't help us. And then Skytrans is located in New Hampshire, and they're the ones that do all the lift work at Jack Frost, Big Boulder, Camelback. They come all the way. They're known for the region. They no bid had come in here and they said contact somebody locally, but this was during the holidays, so we couldn't get any action from Specialty until they actually came out in 3 days and did the electrical work, but the electrical work was done within 48 hours. The thermal issue, why run it again and burn the darn thing up when we don't know what it was? So that's why it's still not running to this day. And then I don't have an excuse, I don't have any other explanations. That's the status. Is there anyone from strategic planning here? Okay.
Just a matter of record keeping, you have co-chair Joe Drucker, but he's no longer in the village.
He's off.
You want to update that?
He's a co-chair. We'll remove him from the committee, and I think there's somebody that was showing some interest. I'll have to brief that out next year. There's no meeting, so there's nothing to brief today. All right, so we can move in. There's no old business. Does anybody have any old business? So we're going to move into the new business. So on December 5th, there was a workshop that we actually had selected Harvest LLC as a company to perform our HR functions, which at that time was choosing us as a vendor, but then to post the general manager position. So that's been posted and it's been undergoing, it's been running since I think right before Christmas. So what we need to do here is to ratify. So we're going to do a motion to ratify the selection of So we're trying to do, we already did electronic vote, but we're going to go ahead and the motion to select Harvest from 12-5, we just need to do it so we can put it in the minutes. So can I have a motion for the selection of Harvest LLC as our HR vendor?
So moved.
Using the 11-5 proposal. There's a proposal dated 11-5, but we went over it on 12-5, correct?
12-5 was emailed.
So the 12-5 was the workshop date, and the proposal was 11-5. So we just need a vote for, do I have a motion for the selection of Harvest? There were multiple bids.
Dave made the motion.
Dave made a motion, okay.
Yeah,
Dave,
so moved.
can I get a second?
Second.
Patricia Sprouse seconds. Can I have any further discussion?
So we're ratifying.
So we're ratifying something that we've already decided on. All right, all in favor? Aye. Okay, so that motion passes. No nays. Mike, did you want to say anything on that, or are you okay? No from Mike Wolchek. Frank, did you get in that one?
Sorry, I'm driving so crazy.
It's okay. Aye from Frank. I heard Joanne say yes. Okay. So we also need to do a motion to approve and vote for harvest for phase one, and this is in the same deal. If that day we then, there's an actual vote, this turns on the general manager's posting and also the retainer fee of 15%, whatever. And that's what we need a motion on formality as well. So can I have a motion? So we've selected the vendor. Now we're moving into a motion to approve so it's phase one, item one, option one, which is a retained search for the purpose of filling the position of the general manager from the same proposal, 11.5, and that was, we already went over this on 12.5.
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
Second, Patricia. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. And Mike, and Frank's and I, and Mike, are you and I? Mike Wilczek? Aye. Aye for him. So we didn't want. All right, so the next motion is for electronic book, same thing, on the same HR company. We need a motion to approve electronic vote that we took online for Harvest LLC for phase one, item one, option two, which is an hourly rate for the search, as proposed in their 11.5 proposal for the position of the rec director. Do I have a motion? Motion? Second. Sprouse. Discussion?
Yes, I have Mr. Lawson.
Okay, Frank, you got the floor?
Yes, I'm not in favor of this because I would like to see us treat the manager and let him develop his own team so somebody he can work closely with. So I'm not in favor, I'm not like saying that Harvest can't do it, but I'd like to see the manager get picked first so he can be involved in who he wants to be one of his directors, management people in his team. That's all I'm saying. Thank you.
Okay, and the point with that is for clarification for you, Frank, is that this is for the posting, so we're not hiring anybody. We're posting, so we are searching for the best, for any and all market candidates, so that we can make an informed decision as a board instead of, so that's what this is about. We're not moving down, so the actual selection might be by a general manager. The board will ultimately pick. It's not the general manager that picks a director, full-time employee. The board, as a body, hires or not the position. This is just a posting. So I'm clarifying that in the discussion phase. All right, so we have a first, we got a second, we have discussion. All in favor? Aye. We have one no, right, for Frank, so that's it. So we have 3 no's for posting a position, and we have 6 yeas. Yes. So the motion passes. So the next item is a motion to approve a write-off for account number 102-0694 in the amount of $17,744.60. This is due to a foreclosure by the bank, Citibank, and it's in accordance with State Statute 68, Chapter 5315. We are allowed only to get 6 months of dues. There is some background and information on this. This is a house that some of us in this audience have been after them for, I think, since 2012 or before even. It's exchanging hands. It's an active, it will become a property that will be revenue generating eventually. But this is someone who we went after. I think, Bob, we went after them back in 2012, right?
Which one?
Oh, I can't tell you.
We've been there for a lot, so.
You don't remember a lot of the numbers? Okay. It's somebody that I guarantee.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. So I forget that, sometimes you live and breathe this stuff. All right, so we have a motion for a write-off. That's the terminology we use, and it's clearing the books, but I know one of our,
Discuss.
you're gonna discuss it?
After.
Okay, so we're gonna do a motion to write it off. Motion, please. Motion to write it off. We got Mike as a motion. A second?
I'll second.
A second. Now we're gonna go into a discussion phase because Pat has comments, but Pat's in the banking field for a career. So she has some comments, and it's actually new, so there you go.
So we are technically not writing off anything because we never, in my understanding, although I haven't gotten full clarity from the office, we have never taken into our revenue, into our income stream, this amount of money. What we're because we're on the cash basis of accounting, which only recognizes revenue to the village when the amounts are collected. These amounts were never collected, so we're not writing off anything. What we technically are doing is forgiving this obligation. We're going to whoever owes us money and saying, that's it, you're off the hook. So that's the technical correct term, but this is one of the cases, and we've had several of them since I've been on the board for the past 5-6 months, where the board is rather confused as to how our collections work, how the write-offs work, and how they intersect with how our books and records are kept. So hence a subsequent recommendation that we move to generally accepted accounting principles with by adopting the accrual method versus the cash method, which will enable the board to have a clearer line of sight into who owes us money, how late they are, and what our stance should be with regard to collection or write-off decisions. So that's my discussion.
Thanks, Pat, that's really helpful. So for clarity, this is bad debt that we need to remove from our books.
It's never been recognized as revenue.
It's not recognized as revenue, but it's on our delinquency report. But
It's on the delinquency.
But because of the foreclosure, it supersedes anything that we have, and we're limited to what we're limited to.
No, that's why I say it is, in technical accounting terms, in what the banking industry would call this, is forgiveness of an obligation. So it's not a write-off because it never hit our books and records as revenue. So
That, neither can we say it's bad debt because we never.
So we're in the middle of, so we're a first and a second and discussion. So I did see a hand go up, and it's from Bob. Is that better, ladies and gentlemen? Sorry. So, I'll recognize.
Thank you, Wade. Pat, I appreciate what you're saying there, but you're not actually writing off the money, you're writing off the bad debt owed to the village. You keep that bad debt on your books. It doesn't look good when you go for a loan. If you talk to our accountants and everything, they can explain it much better than I can. We've had many meetings with them and discussions with them about this, and this is why we write off the bad debt.
you are technically right. We write off the bad debt on our financial statements of 12/31. The 364 remaining days of the year, there is no reporting on this. So there's only one day when we reflect this write-off. The rest of the time, the board is not getting information on a flow basis on the status of collections versus write-offs, hence the conversion to the accrual method recommendation.
We used to get the reports monthly.
But they do not tie to the official books and records of Locust Lake Village.
They're not tying. So we're fixing it.
I'll just suggest talking to your accountant about this.
We have been in discussions with several firms, so that's happened. Thank you. Thank you though, Bob, for bringing up that history.
All right, so discussion's closed, no other item? So. Okay, Mike?
Questions. The 17,000 plus, is that for dues?
I think it's dues and late fees.
It's everything. It's
Dues and late fees.
Okay, there's dues and late fees.
And attorney costs.
Bylaws and following them. when somebody's behind, and that's not, this 17,000 is not 1 year.
No.
When,
We've been chasing it.
per the bylaws, okay? Yeah, you can negotiate the settlement and everything else. Well, the chairperson can, but it should also be ratified by the board. But besides that, it says when you're behind, okay, you start putting a lien against it and you start foreclosures. Now, $17,000, I think even at $4,000 a year, you're talking about over 40 years this thing's been festering. Now, you know, the problem I see here is that we have not been following our bylaws, and we're getting ourselves, and we're writing all these amounts off. You know, I'm gonna vote no on this. Why? Because the thing is, it's not fair, you know, to the rest of the members that we're raising dues and changing different accounting practices, okay? But yet, these people who are behind, we're not going after them per the bylaws. And that goes back to the attorney also. He should be involved in this, as far as, you know, preparing liens against these properties and forcing the issue.
Okay, so
So, you know, that's where I stand.
okay, thank you, Mike. I'm going to make a comment on that, just so everybody in the audience. So, this
We do have a judgment on that.
We have
We had judgments, many.
we already, this person was hard to find and evading over the years, but we did get, and I know there's one existing judgment, so the house is gone, the main asset is gone. You don't just blindly go into a foreclosure on a property that has liens against it. So we'll play game with numbers real quick. $100,000 house. If they've got if they have $79,000 of a loan and the house is in disrepair and it's going to cost you $150,000 to get it up to speed of living in, we don't want to foreclose on a property like that because it's going to be costly. Now, we have foreclosed on a property in here before, but that was zero liens, or there wasn't a lien against the property per se. It was the value that was there what made sense. But we actually pursue all collections with liens and or small claim actions. And if we have to, we go to Superior and we'll go that route. So to say, although Mike believes that we didn't do anything in accordance, he thinks we did things wrong in the past, on this particular, we always went after this particular. We go right after everything. So. It's a write-off. So the bottom.
Can't hear.
I clear the books, but I have no information how this thing, as you said, well, we were working on this, we worked, you know, 79,000, it's worth 100,000, it cost us some money, well, guess what? It's costing us $17,000.
All right, that was an example.
You're saying, okay?
Okay.
But it doesn't make common sense to me, it doesn't make absolutely no sense when people's dues are going up over 14%.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead, yep.
Hold on, sure.
Do you want to make your comment?
We have workshops to go over this before board meetings. We discussed this and had time for questions, answers at the workshop. It was explained to us what was going on. It was the foreclosure with the bank, not us. I don't feel sitting up here as a board member when we've already discussed this in a workshop and now in a public meeting where we're having someone that's potentially contradicting the session that we already had. We had an agenda, we went over it in a workshop, we had time and effort to understand the question, understand the circumstance, understand the agenda item. I don't want to sit up here as a board and look like I'm a fool up here when we've already had opportunity to hash out any concerns that we had. Two board members are sitting up here and we're listening to something that is not accurate.
And for clarity, Mike Wolchuk was not at that workshop, but it is his fiduciary duty to prepare himself with motions as they come up. So, I mean, I respect that, Mike, you're feeling uninformed or unprepared right now because you missed the workshop. But we did exhaust this topic greatly, really trying to understand how we should frame it to all of our, as we communicate out to the community, as we think about decisions internally. There is definitely interest that we can make this clearer and easier if we move to the accrual method, which is a big lift, but we can do that. And we need to be more clear that We are removing the bad debt because there's no chance of recovering this money. This was done by the bank. We did have liens, we did have judgments against them. We had done all of the due processes for this particular one, so this is not an example of where we didn't follow through with, or in the past, previous boards did not follow through with their responsibilities, they did. So there's really not an option for us but to write this off, otherwise we will just be making the books look bad.
So we're,
It's, we're done. This, I'm going to shut down the discussion. We're going to move forward with this decision.
Hold it up, please. Here.
So restate that with Mike. Restate it again.
Has this particular property been in going through liens and everything? So for $17,000, I mean, the dues that we're talking about, dues and fines, it's not just 1 year, it's not just 2 years, it's not just 3 years. How long has this been in the works?
The answer is, so the answer to that, we went over this. We've already got other
I can
judgments.
send anything he wants on Monday.
So we'll give you everything you want, Mike, but
Or it's already in the
it's already in the
Wait,
SharePoint.
for the benefit of everyone in the audience, we had a workshop, like I said, it was acknowledged he wasn't there, but we have a SharePoint file that has all the documents for the board to review prior to the board meeting. So if there's some concerns or questions, we all have access to the SharePoint file that has the support documentation.
So the SharePoint, Mike, if you can hear me, Mike, the SharePoint file that every board member got at the workshop, it's in the file, it exists. And we have been chasing this person, we've gotten judgments well over, since 2012. That's how long it's been, that I can talk to them. But so, I don't mean to,
Hold it up, please. It's all the people.
Bylaws that are not being followed, I'm sorry. Thank you.
The first judgment that it was issued to this person
Can you guys
had.
mic, Jen?
Jen, we recognize.
Hi, my name is Jen, I'm the office manager. The first judgment, when I was speaking to Alaska regarding this case, the first judgment that was issued to this person was paid. In 2018 or 2019, this person dropped off the earth. They tried to find her, she was served, not served. Later on, we find out that she is no longer in PA. That's when the bank reached out to us and stated that the bank is taking over. So there are judgments and liens prior to this. If he needs any documentation, we can give that to him.
You hear that, Mike? We'll get you anything you want. This matter is, it's a foreclosure. We have to carry it on the books, we could, but why? So we're in a still discussion. Now I'm going to close discussion, and I'd like to have a vote, please. All in favor? Who's against? We have 3 negatives, and I'm an aye.
No, I didn't hear.
Okay, Frank's an aye. Oh, Frank's an aye. Frank's an aye. Okay, Frank's an aye. Joanne? Aye. Okay, and Mike, you're a nay.
Yes.
Okay, so all are positive except for Mike. For the minutes. We did follow that. All right, so the next topic we have for new business is to approve Hanover Engineering for a survey. It's a formality right now, not to exceed. I'm asking for this. It's a not to exceed, it's like a contingency. I'm gonna try to get some additional surveying quotes, but this is our existing engineering firm for the association. It is for the actual, so the sand shed, we have already targeted it for the maintenance yard. We want to get a survey to make sure that it is, that where we can place it, we're going to be okay. And now I don't have a completed survey. We have the compact area that had some rough lines, but I wanted to get a survey of the yard for as it stands today. They gave us an not to exceed engineering quote of $4,500. But I believe it's prudent for us to do this, to make sure that it's placed in properly. And if we update the permit, we update the permit. But we don't want to place it anywhere near wetlands, or on wetlands. We got to be sure. So nothing's been built, but we need to do is get this approved so that we can pursue it. Does anybody have questions on this? Is what the purpose was? So that's what I'm asking for. And I'm just saying that we'll document the file. I can do it as a I cannot do it as a manager because it's out of capital. So the monies would come out of capital and needs a board vote. If it was operational funds, I could do it with proper paperwork by myself. So I need a board not to exceed, and we'll update it before we actually act on anything. Can I have a motion? Can I have a motion? We have a motion? So Mike Rosario, motion, and
Sherry will second.
Sherry second. Now we're open to discussion. Mike.
Bring the phone to
During the evaluation, unless I'm wrong, at the compact area, the ground has already been disturbed. There's stones that were put in there where they were going to put it. Now, we already did some work there. What we're doing now is after the fact. That's all that stuff we should have that in hand. That where we're building and disturbing the soil, we should have something in hand. I don't understand where we are. We're asking the engineer now to tell us that where we've already disturbed the land and started building it, that it's okay.
No. I think what I said was, I think it's close to the wetlands, and I don't want it, the stone that was placed was done months ago, and I want to make sure that we are in the clear, and if we do this, then we'll have the data to make sure if we do a relocation, that we can relocate, and we haven't built anything. So that's the we wrote. Go ahead.
The surface, you dug down, you put some stone down there. You know, I hear what you're saying, but what was engineering evaluation? Where we're going to put it should have been already in place before we did any of the work.
Well, can I?
We're back, and that's what I don't understand.
Can I clarify? And this may be to Frank or Mike or Buildings and Grounds. My understanding is we just received the permit right before Christmas, mid to late December.
And I didn't pay for it.
And that part of that was what then concerned us, that the location, we should double down and reevaluate the location before we build, which is now triggering the need for this survey. That was my understanding of the timeline.
Correct. I mean, we have to do that over here with the buying property. I guess I know too much of you guys the procedures that
It's my understanding that the proposed site, which did have gravel put on it, is impeding.
Hold on, Mike V is giving an update.
Yeah, it is impeding on the wetland, so that's why we're not going to put it there. And I don't know if the gravel is doing any damage to the wetlands. I think a building would be and a salt shed would be. So this proposal is because we have a survey of the maintenance yard, but it doesn't include another proposed site, which we believe will not impede on any of the wetlands. So that's why we need the approval of the survey, because the survey that we have on record is incomplete. It doesn't cover the area where we want to put the salt shed moving forward.
Right. So, okay, enough. So what we're going to do here is, we're in still discussion phase. The thing is that when I took over this, when I became chairman and also the manager, I wanted to walk around all the sites. And I walked with Bob, and I walked with Bob Christensen, and I walked with Tommy, and Mike Mufflin, and who is the Hanover engineer. The bottom line is, I thought it was too close, but the flagging showed that it was outside of the area that was existing. But I did not have anything to rely upon. And having being sensitive to all of these issues that we have in this community with permitting, I then found, I was told, quote unquote, oh, we don't need a permit for this. And I was like, what? And I was told by 2 different people. And I went to the town hall myself. And sure enough, you need a construction permit. And we got the construction permit for the site. But the bottom line is, we didn't have any real surveying of that area where it is. I'm just trying to do it right and prevent, what would have happened if we built the silo and poured the concrete, which is 6 foot or 8 foot high? That'd have been horrendous. So this is, it's one of those things, we just gotta do it. And it needs to come out of cap, and we need to do it right. We don't need any more mistakes around here. So I'm sitting.
Wait, you're doing this to protect the village.
Apparently, these 2 other people didn't know what was going on, and the first thing that I would say if I was doing any work, you go to the township and see if you need a permit. And you did, and the township said, hey, you need a permit on this, and you also should be surveying. Where are you gonna put this stuff? That's what they do when you're doing building stuff.
So Mike,
Like I said, it doesn't make sense. I'm done.
All right, so for the record, the manager did the original permit. We actually have, for the site that exists today, we do have a permit for that site, but we went the extra yard, and we're gonna get some information, and by golly, I'm gonna do it right. And that's what I owe this community. So, can I have a motion, please?
Well, I'd just like to add that I support your abundance of caution on this one. I think it's the way to go. Thank you.
We had a motion, Mike B. and
Mike
a second.
B. Thanks,
So
Mike.
we Finishing discussion.
So we're finished discussion. Can we have a vote in favor, by name, please? Mike, or Tom?
Aye.
Aye.
And Frank's and I. Joanne? No. And Mike, we know. Mike, we'll check. No, still? It's, no, Mike, no, it's, we're going forward with the survey. So that we can,
$4,500.
up to 4,500, we don't have, we have to get 2 more bids to make sure they're above or no bids.
But you need to do it properly, or you need if you're saying we need to.
Okay.
So you're a yes.
So what, yes, okay, so motion passes. Motion passes. Does anyone want to take a break?
I think we're taking a break.
Listen, you guys are offered for a 5-minute break here? Come on, please. I need a couple people here that are.
Yeah, so I'm gonna, I have to just show them all the proofs. Your deed has things together, but there's no paperwork from the 90s.
Good morning. How are you? January 31st.
Oh, look at this nice village.
What are you doing with life
First Amendment Act, they don't eliminate it.
All right, well, thank you very
Can't afford it. Put it there. Property. That won't work. Give me something that says, no, we don't give those certificates. Then I have to pay to get it first. Get the discount. I've got that maybe 10 years. So I made the power. I got a stack of papers. Yeah, but I mean, don't get me wrong, I never said all the way to the
It's right on the turn. That's right off.
take over. These Airbnb people, this corporation that requires all these places. I never really thought of that until everybody is a property. Last year I got one buck. 18 properties. My thing is,
all right, there's right before that road, and there's a yeah. Most of the parking areas along that trail.
Members, fellow members, neighbors. Calling the meeting back to order. Please take your seats.
Come on, everybody, let's go. Job. Good job.
last motion was, we actually approved the 4,500 from Hanover out of the capital reserve account. So I'm also now looking for a motion to approve for the payment of the capital, the Bureau Veritas permit in the amount of $1,258.70. And since it was a capital project, I think it should come out of capital, so that it's where we have plenty of money in reserve.
And this is paid for the salt shed?
This is for the salt shed. So that permit has not been picked up yet, but I was called by Veritas saying that it's ready. So I haven't picked it up yet, but I intend to.
I'm gonna just add that clause for the salt shed construction.
Okay, yeah, please do that.
How much is it paid? Because you have a certain dollar amount for capital, it's not just any way.
It's 1,200 and, okay, Joanne just asked what was the amount, and it's on the agenda. It's at $1,258.70.
Does it meet the threshold?
It does not meet the threshold, so we can't take it out of capital.
Guarantee ratings. Let's have a bundle or something. If you would have deferred this on, we weren't gonna
All right.
pay, we can bundle it or something.
Okay, you know what, I'll defer. That's not, okay. At least we put it on the topic for discussion. That's good. All right, so we'll defer this particular motion. Defer. I just didn't want, our ops monies are not plentiful. All right, so this next motion is to approve a payment plan for the LLV owners who have been impacted by the elimination of the dues discount. So, the motion is to assist the owners whose increase in their annual dues were caused by the elimination of the dues discount could present a financial burden, and an optional payment plan for the 26th year is offered. The details are as follows. I mean, this is all about implementation of the discount. So this is what we came up with as an alternative for our members for that particular increase on them. The dues will be paid in 2025 must be paid in full by February 28, 2026, like it always would have been, but it's the amount is the old dues amount, which is on the invoice. There will be, for the balance, it's elective. If you want to pay it all at one time, you can, but if you want to, there's no fees, no interest that will be charged for participating in the payment plan. So it just gives you a disbursement period of 10 months. You just got to be good to go by the end of the year. The remaining balance will be paid at the owner's convenience throughout 2026. Owners enrolled in the payment plan will remain good standing as long as all their 2026 dues are paid in full by December 31st. Owners interested in taking advantage of the plan should contact the office by February 27, 2026. So this is something that we want to formulate it, make it official and well-informed, make everybody well-informed that, we're trying to work with you too. Like I said, it's a level set. It's not looking for a motion. Make it up.
So moved.
And Mike, second. Discussion.
I'll start a discussion. I just want to clarify the first bullet point. We're saying the dues for 2025.
It's the amount equal to, I think it should read, the amount equal to dues paid in 2025 should be paid in full by February 28th. That's how I would phrase it.
Okay.
It's a little confusing.
It's a language problem, I agree.
Because we're trying to say the dues assessment for 2026 that normally has to be paid, when it's released January 1st, 2026, it has to be paid by February 28th. That's still business as usual.
Yeah.
So that by stating dues paid in 2025, as it reads, it's confusing.
So how would you reword it, Tom?
What I just said 10 seconds ago, can we rewind the tape? The dues assessment for 2026 that is due by February 26th is still applicable. The increase, something like that,
Actually, so
the
on everybody's invoice, it shows what you paid, and it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're dues or a normal member. Your dues will list what you paid in 2025. Pay that amount by February 28th. The delta or the difference between the 2025 and 2026 invoice, that's the increase that you see. And that's, for instance, for the gentleman that was in here, who said he pays $1,300. That $1,300 is an increase, I think, over your old dues. And that can be spread over 10 months at any increment that you want.
In February.
If that, it's
I think I
next
have the
year.
language. Whatever amount paid in dues for 2025 must be paid in full by Feb 28, 26.
Yeah.
Does that work for?
Yes.
Everyone gets that?
Yes.
Everyone heard?
How
Okay.
about if you just said the amount of 1,700 and change will be paid by February 28th?
Well, they probably had multiple properties, Bob, so that's why
So it won't
it is
work.
67 different versions. Remember, this is where there's many various
Many
versions.
versions.
So we'll make it just individual to what you had on your invoice last year.
It's messy.
Wait, just to clarify, you said you can make any payments in any increments you want through the year?
What I said was, as long as it's paid, it's paid for by the end of the year, you can do anything you want. In my opinion, I mean, we're voting on it. If we say what it has to be a payment plan, right now we've been doing it. As long as you pay the 2025 amount by the 28th of February, the remaining, you just go on your own payment plan and get it over with. At the end of the year, the staff is informed. We're memorializing it here, but you can do what you want and just pay. You'll be a member of good standing and just have it all paid by the end of the year. Just to really dumbing it down.
The difference in that
difference.
increase is the only portion of the
That's
steel
it.
out-based spread.
Yeah, it's just the difference. Yes.
I'd like to put a date on it instead of just saying by the end of the year. Maybe say like November 30th or something like that, just so.
We said,
It says 12/31.
yeah, we did it. Yeah, we did, Frank, we did, it's in the motion, it says the deadline, it must be paid in full by December 31st, 2026. It does say it. So, the bottom line is that, they're gonna do that because otherwise it's just gonna be added. Then if they don't do it, then the interest and the fees apply. But we don't need it, that's just the way, the payment plan is truly a very generous plan. So that's it. So we have it, now we have it. So we have a motion, we have a second, we have a discussion, we've got the language fixed. Let's move forward and all in favor? Aye. People? Aye for Frank? Joanne?
Yes.
Sheila, yay. And then she's off. Mike?
Fell asleep.
Okay. I'll just say no for Mike. And then the motion passes.
Is he still actively online, or I heard some weird feedback?
Joanne just dropped off first.
Mike is dropped off.
Just make sure the weather
Letting-
isn't
it's
affecting
letting-
the-
He's on. Mike, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay. How do you vote for the motion?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we got all in favor.
Everybody's in favor of this. Okay. So the payment plans, what are the other motions? So,
The second bullet point.
second bullet on page 2, that was, so we have a motion to enable the presentation of POA financial statements. You're on, Joanne. Okay. To reflect income and expenses earned and incurred, the conversion from the cash basis to the accrual basis will occur during 2026, ideally in the first calendar quarter. The primary advantage of the accrual method for LLB POA include the monthly income statement will reflect the dues earned over a 12-month period, presenting a more realistic view of LLB POA financial performance. Under the cash basis, LLB operates at a loss for most months, while generating large profits in the months when dues are collected. The board will be able to perform a monthly review of an accurate balance sheet of dues and fees receivable, which ties to our financial accounting record. That will enable better decision-making on collection policies.
I think there might be a problem that on one of the versions, the whole motion doesn't show up. But on this version, it does. So, but on this version, it does. Okay.
Pat, can you choose mine? Did you read everything that was appropriate to the motion? And we will go with that.
You said the board will be able to approve a monthly review. You said that second bullet.
So the board will be able to perform a monthly
Okay.
review of an
Then you got
accurate
it.
balance.
You got it. Thank you.
That's what I'm using as mine.
Yes.
Okay, so that's your motion, right, Pat?
It is. So I make the motion that we move to the accrual method.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Second. All right, and that second is by David. And then we open discussion. So, okay, John?
Hold on a minute, wait, you have to pick the phone up to Mike.
Go ahead, Joanne.
We're still waiting for Pat to give us some recommendations from the accounting, which is way more critical than what we're talking about right now. We have a pending tax return due in April. We're gonna have to go under extension as it is, and we haven't voted on the audit. And we also need somebody that's gonna be able to guide them through what has to happen, to get them to where they need to go with the approval process. It's not as simple as a motion, there's semantics. So I think, like, I don't understand where this motion came from without the background info. And punting and not choosing an accountant leaves you to be in danger, because we know I didn't sign the tax return last year because of the creative accounting method. So we need to put that first. Where are we at with that?
That's the next motion.
No, hiring the accountant is not the next motion. I have an RFP outstanding. We have 2 responses. We're awaiting a third. I've discussed this conversion to accrual and the challenges that we're facing operationally with both accounting firms that are looking to do the bid. Both of them have teams on board that can assist. They have QuickBook experts outside of the audit practice that can coach people. So I think that would not stop us from putting this motion forward and kind of clearing the air for everyone that this is the direction that the board wants to take. So hopefully by next month, we will have settled on which accountant we are recommending.
So another discussion point. So I did receive an email from, I met with Kathleen and Deidre, and Deidre explained to me QuickBooks, and we had a special person coming in, Terry Rosario is going to come in and QuickBooks can be converted for both the use of cash basis or accrual. But our bookkeeper accountant, Captain Brenner, who I trust, with 47 years of experience, said that right now she is not recommending we do that, and she gave me an email.
We've seen the email. She sent it to the board, and we have not been able to schedule a fulsome discussion with the bookkeeper with regard to this change, although attempts have been made multiple times to have a sit down on this topic. I do not think that there's no rush job implied in this motion. It says ideally in the first quarter. It doesn't say it must be done. It's a step-by-step process, and we will get through it. But we first have to take the first step of saying that this is what the board supports.
I do agree with Joanne, we have many financial milestones in the next couple of months. Could we augment the motion so that we set the vision? Because I think what I'm hearing from you is you want to set the vision to establish a plan to transition from cash to accrual basis. That we say that the intent is to convert throughout calendar year 2026. So we figure out a plan to convert over the course of this year.
Well, but the ideal is that we are on the accrual basis sometime during 2026, rather than deferring it for another year.
No, we don't want to. I think we should try to get there, but I'm just saying, I don't want to rush the staff. Sorry. I don't want to rush the staff. I think that they got to, remember during the workshop, I said, when did we make a decision about going from cash basis to actual accrual? We never did. Now
So-
there's a
and that's
body.
why there's a motion.
So that's why I think that this is the reason for this. I've been gone, I was gone 4 days for a funeral myself, so, yeah, so I think, we don't, this could be deferred as well, and change the date, put a deadline maybe of March.
But that's what we say ideally, that we do it during 2026, that's the language, ideally in the first calendar quarter.
Okay.
I think as long as a board, we acknowledge and recognize that the staff will need assistance, which we did. We did have something scheduled for the beginning of January, and that got pushed to the end of January for scheduling. As I heard Patricia mention, the accounting firm is also having assistance. So I think as a board, if we have a vision of converting and the staff needs helping hand guidance, and the board is already looking at 2 specific avenues, one person coming in that got rescheduled and a accounting firm with consultants that will give guidance, I think we are guiding the vision in the right direction.
So
I
we can
did
always
see the email from the bookkeeper, and I've been doing accounting 35, 40 plus years. The concern I think that was raised is not a deal stopper. It was showing I've been here 40 years. I just want to make sure my hand is guided in the proper direction, and I don't want to be left stranded. It's the vision I extracted from the email. So I think as long as we are providing the right guidance, we're in the right path, and the staff will have support.
Yeah, I just want everyone to know that I read that, and I want to make sure our expertise and our staff is, I want to make sure that they're intricately involved. And if we did, if we're going to get a new accountant, they should be done too. So I'm okay with this. I just wanted to make it all.
This is setting the vision.
My comment is, the motion states the accrual basis will occur during 2026, ideally in the first calendar quarter. So I think to remove some of the fear of our current bookkeepers, my wife, who is a bookkeeper, she's been doing over 40 years. She has multiple clients. She's an expert in QuickBooks. She has volunteered to meet with the staff to help them show what the difference is and eventually convert from cash to accrual. It's a much more detailed way of doing accounting, especially for an association of our size. So I think in moving forward, it's in the best interest of the village. That's my comment.
Okay. All right, I think with that, I think we will.
I hear we're gonna make changes and stuff, but we don't wanna rush for stuff. Is there a definite plan saying, fine, this is what we're gonna do, this is when we're gonna implement, this is when we're gonna, as far as starting implementing it, this is when it's gonna turn, we're gonna turn the switch. We need some definition here.
That is the motion to do this during calendar year 2026. We are already establishing a few processes. It's not going to be done, in a perfect world to be done during Q1. There is likelihood that may get delayed due to other issues. But we're setting the vision to be done by the end of calendar year 2026. Now we need to develop the implementation plan after this motion passes.
I agree.
In the next 3 months, 2 months. Ideally.
Are we seeing the plans that we have right now are not sufficient? And that's why we're changing it, and it's gonna take us a year to upgrade it.
Mike, we have to agree as a board that we're changing the vision, so that's why we're motioning this to be voted on as a board.
All right, well, I understand that, but the thing is, we're taking a motion to change it. We need to have some definition. I mean, it's a plan. We're gonna change it. It could be 1 year, 2 years. Let's put a definite plan to plan. Within 3 months, okay, the plan, the new system will be in place, and we'll do a trial run. Okay, then in 4 months, okay, we're gonna be turning it over, throwing the switch. Right now, I don't see any.
I think that's in the procedure.
That is in a procedure. The detailed rollout, Mike, we're not there yet. But this is, first the board says, this is our vision, this is what we intend to do. We will absolutely support the staff to implement this. We'll take it step by step. And this is January. We're not saying anyone has to do this by next Tuesday. We have a year to go through this with the support of an accounting firm that can help us. So I don't think that we need to have a project plan ready at this moment. We just need to set the vision, as Sherry said.
Mike, if I could add for your comfort level, you can't flow chart a specific date. If you're going to look at business processes and what some of us are all familiar with in our day jobs, as was already detailed out, we have a schedule for an assessment. As Mike just said, his wife, who's a bookkeeper, has a scheduled date to come in, meet with the staff to do the assessment. So you can't say we're going to implement something by a certain date when you can't put on a flow chart when you haven't even had that first meeting to assess the ability, the logistics, the thing. So, I mean, you're getting too far ahead of business processes. We're already on a vision. We have in plan, place, resources to come in to assess, to then develop that flow charting of what you're asking. But you can't put the cart before the horse. The first meeting hasn't happened to give the board feedback to say, oh, they'll need a week, they'll need a month. Oh, there's 3 things in QuickBooks that, are going to go smooth and there's another 2 that won't. So I think, enough said.
To do this, but yet we have a plan of how we're going to do it and what we're going to implement, what systems. But we can't say how long it's going to take. I've never had that at any one of my jobs in 50-something years. Okay, I'm not agreeing with the whole thing. But what definition is going to be put in writing?
You're heard, and yeah, Frank, you're next.
So Todd, I'm not sure if I heard Tom right. Tom said this is to have an assessment, see what direction we should go. Is that correct?
An assessment of how to convert.
The assessment of the skill level, the software, hardware, because Mike was asking specifics on dates, and when we haven't had a first meeting with staff to see whether something could be in 2 days or 2 months, you need that first meeting.
So shouldn't we wait until we get the assessment, the vote? I'm not against it. I'm just saying, what if they come back and say this isn't right for us? You know what I'm saying? Well, should we get the assessment first?
Excuse me, Frank, this is to convert us to generally accepted accounting principles, which is the industry standard for preparation of financial statements, which is widely practiced by any HOA across the United States. This is just to put us to sound practice for an HOA accounting system. So there will be obstacles, but we will look at them and figure out how to get past them. And I'm grateful that Terry Vazzari, who has this expertise, is going to come in and take those first steps with the staff because she speaks their language.
Not to belabor a point, but just to add some clarification, as a board member, I reviewed financials just like everyone else should. I did provide feedback saying, one of the months, as a board member, I reviewed the financials, and one example was, if you look at the monthly financials, we had nothing in electricity because we didn't get the bill. Then we had another month where we had nothing in electricity because we didn't get the bill. So accounting for non-accountants, it doesn't mean we don't have an electric expense. It just means the bill's somewhere out in cyberspace or stuck in the mail, sitting on someone's desk. So the logistics of that one example, the village is seeing financials that will show 0, 0, and then a large number. Just giving staff the guidance to say, you can put a placeholder. You know what your electric bill is last month, the month before, a year ago. You can put an estimate in, and then the financials that the village sees will see, this is a rough estimate of what the electric is. That's one example of accrual. That's one example of when someone meets with the staff, giving them the reassurance of, is that all it is? I thought it was more complicated. So that's where we're at now, the vision of where we're going for 26. The support mechanism to have the staff helped, let them ask any questions, and provide the simple answer that they already kind of pre-questioned. I'm not sure. Well, here's the simple answer. And as you've heard, there's enough support, not only from people on the board, but from the resources the board's looking to provide to help us with that vision over the year.
And community members who are knowledgeable about accounting have raised this issue before, and we did acknowledge that we would be converting this year,
So that these Owens and these other two firms that you've reached out to, they are all in favor of approval?
We haven't spoken to Owens. Owens, we're talking to some new firms.
We're talking about this stuff that we supposed to have a workshop meeting a week ago.
We did talk about this.
We've talked about it.
You weren't at the workshop.
We did talk about it, Mike, if you didn't attend the workshop. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and vote on that particular motion. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any nays? Aye from Frank. Aye from Frank. Joanne?
I'm gonna guess, but this is a big one, the workshop, and there's much more to it, but in general, we need to move to the accrual county practice. And generally, all the audits that we've had prior to this have just been validated by this whole conversation to go on record with that.
Mike, you were a no, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Is this other one here? It's the same motion.
Yes, it looked like the same one.
I'm not going to do that. All right, there was, let's go to the next bullet. The other bullet we had was for an executive session, but I think the purpose of that was for an appeal process, and that is not going to happen. But it's scheduled right now. So I'm now going to go into a topic. The village has been encountering a lot of bipolarization based on social media and just outright things that were posted and said and done by members of the community. Like I said, I've received I have concerns. I have multiple complaints. I have council input and demands from numerous association members. Have petitioned me, have called me, met with me in my office. Some, very upset to the point of unintelligent communications. I'm following my duty to convey these concerns and act according to the direction of the LLVPOA bylaws. I don't take it lightly. I'll apologize in the beginning because some of my board members, I did this last night on coming back from Ohio. And I found out that I know that this is all speculative because I haven't seen it, but I know that there's some sort of petition that's going around. But I convey these concerns, and I believe it's my duty to act. I'm only one member, and I'm calling for a motion for the removal of Joanne Andrus. I just informed some of my fellow board members, they didn't even know about this, but I let them know before the meeting. So I'm making this clear that some of the board members didn't know until this morning, and I didn't prepare this until this morning. Fine tuning it. The LLV bylaws, Article 7, Section 1F2 states a director may be removed for conducting oneself in a manner which shall affect adversely the confidence of the general membership of the integrity of the board or the integrity of the board of directors. Section 1F3 provides the following procedures. The procedure for removal of a board member. The will be done at a regular session or a special meeting of the Board of Directors. A motion to dismiss a board member must be passed. Further, the motion will direct an appointed committee to investigate the removal of the director for a specified cause. The board member in question will be notified in writing of the motion and of the date set for the review of the matter by the appointed committee, and the board member may attend that review. The appointed committee will review in the manner deemed most advisable. It will then submit its finding to the entire board for action at the next scheduled meeting. At that meeting, an affirmative vote of at least 7 board members shall be required to remove the board member. The background is as a director, Joanne Andrus is obligated to serve as a fiduciary and comply with governing documents, including the code of conduct, the bylaws, and her fiduciary duties. Recent allegations have been made against Andrus, namely that she shared confidential information. She has communicated with employees in an unprofessional manner, harassing in an inappropriate manner as a board of directors. She's made unauthorized comments on social media regarding LLVPOA. She has exhibited unprofessional behavior in violation of the code of conduct. She has not performed the duties of treasurer, responsibilities as defined in the bylaws. She contacted the association attorneys without authority by the chairman of the board, breaching code of conduct and bylaws. Based on the above, this is the motion I'm asking for. Based on the above, and this is basically to start an investigation. Based on the above, because the person is innocent until he's proven. That's not in this write-up. But we have a duty to investigate, and that's what this is. This is not for the removal, this is an investigation. Based upon the above, the Board of Directors, LD, within the powers granted under Article 7, Section 1F3 of the bylaws, hereby moves as follows: to commence the process to remove Joanne Andrus as a director for cause conducting oneself in a manner which will effectively reverse the confidence of the general membership and the integrity of the Board of Directors. To appoint the following persons as an investigative committee. We have to appoint, and that will be done by 4 members in good standing will be appointed to fulfill this duty. And we intend to provide legal counsel, and Attorney Jackie Woolley will serve as investigative counsel to support the committee. Once appointed, the committee shall conduct an investigation into these allegations in detail, engaging agents and professionals as needed. The board shall notify Andrus of this investigation. This is the motion. And the date set for review and advise her of availability to participate. The committee shall issue written findings to the board at the February 21st meeting. Upon review of the report at the 2/21 meeting, the board may call a vote to remove Andrus' bylaws. That is the motion. Now, again, this has just come to fruition this morning for some of the members of the board. So that is, but again, I wanted to start the process. I felt that is my duty. So do I have a motion?
I'll send the motion.
So the motion is introduced by Sherry Kubis. Do I have a second for the motion?
I'll second.
David Harris seconds the motion. So we now are for discussion, and again, I apologize for the time, but the investigation, the key is, it's an investigation by others, not us. It will be impartial people and counsel. So that way it's fair. Is there any discussion? I'm going to put the phone up. Go ahead.
I just wanted to be, that being said, half the board didn't know anything about this, and get it with this information 10 minutes before meeting, I thought was very unfair. We could have an executive session to discuss it and bring it to the board. So I just want to state my displeasure with the board and the chair for bringing us without a thorough knowledge of the situation, like 10 minutes before the meeting.
True. And it's true, and it could have been handled a different way. But again, if there was something underway, I felt it was my duty to act immediately, and I put it together through the night. And I apologize to my members. Again, it's an investigation of others, by others, I should say. So that's a discussion. All right. I'm going to ask for a board vote by name. Obviously, Joanna, we know you know the situation. You don't need to vote. Mike Wilczek. Mike Wilczek. Okay, I'm going to move to the next director until he talks. Pat Sprouse.
Yes.
David Harris.
Yes.
Sherry Coombs.
Yes, to the investigation.
I thought this was a discussion.
We were done. We just moved in the vote. You,
Well, I had it on you because I didn't want to talk about somebody else's talk.
we've already started, Michael. Just vote no.
I want the community to know that all this information is not.
Can't hear him.
Supposed to be priority, okay? And not address all this information to the community before any investigation is done. That didn't happen. And I see right now, being a board member and being a board member 2 other times, this is, I wouldn't say a setup, but the thing is we gotta get this person off the board. And the thing that I see the problem is, there are other things that came in here during the years. I'd like to have an investigation, okay, of sales of property and board members are doing their due diligence and stuff. But things came up over the years, and nothing's been done by the board. And all of a sudden, somebody's pushing back and trying to set this straight as far as the financing and total accountability of our finances, resources, and people, okay, they're being attacked. And the thing is, I cannot in good conscience, okay, support any of this, because as far as what I can see, by knowing the people, okay, this is the old regime. If we can't beat them, okay, we kick them off the board.
Well, there's a process. Okay, thank you. No for Mike Wilczek. Again, it's a vote to do something to find out if it's true or not. This is not a witch hunt. If it warrants it, you go for it. But if you become aware of it, you do nothing, then you're liable. So that's what happens. So Mike Wilczek.
I vote no.
Tom Travis.
Yes.
And who else we got? So Frank is a no, right? Frank's a no.
What's your vote?
I did the motion, I'm a yes. I vote to investigate. The motion passes.
Well, it's interesting, Woody, okay? All the board members were not at the executive session. Why didn't
There wasn't one, you were in it, we talked about it this morning.
Why wasn't the board member at least right there with the others? I guess it doesn't really matter.
It's,
Mike, you don't have to worry about this. When this investigation goes down, we're gonna find out who the real problems are, including the board chair, who's the biggest offender of all. Let it go.
again, another Mr. Ritz. Okay.
Yeah, okay. All right, wait.
All right, well, the motion passed. We'll be forming the committee for investigation.
I volunteered to be on the committee.
You're not on, you can't, we're not allowed to. Well, if you want, we'll go ahead and bounce it off Attorney Costa.
During my investigation, it was, but that's okay. No problem.
All right. So, but all of the way it's gonna work is that there'll be 30 days, they have to report out. There will be, all of the all the allegations, and that's what they are, allegations. I mean, they have to be substantiated. But we can't sit back and do nothing. That's my predicament. Could this have been done better? Yes. But I think we should not, the board should not wait when they have the information. They shouldn't wait for a special petition to be circulated around the village and have them go through that process. They can still do that. There's two. I just read the bylaws, Mr. Wilczek. We're completely doing this above board and in form. So that's.
Someone just hang on.
Wait, what I'm saying is, it was done badly because you didn't have us at like an executive session meeting as a board as a whole to discuss this other than 10 minutes before. Like, we could have did this properly, like corporate, you did this on the fly right before, almost like it was calculated, that's all I'm saying.
Well, there was, no, it took me days to think about all the stuff that's going down. At the end of the day, I'm already in front of there's 50 people online, there's people in this office, and I admit that already. But I could not, I'll take it on the chin. I cannot wait any longer. I had to do, and you didn't have to, and you voted no. It doesn't. Oh, the procedure was done correctly, absolutely.
Your co-chair can do.
Put it out there, once everybody was around the table and had all the information that you're supposed to do. Like, me, Mike, Joanne, 4 or 5 of us didn't have none of this information. It was almost like, I remember last June, like, how split the board was. So in the 7 months that I've been on here, the board still completely split the way we handled this. This is my opinion, thankfully.
Yeah. All right, so now we're going to move on to members' comments. What, you want to say about the motion? The motion passed. 5 to 4.
Kathy Maloney, 217 Partridge Drive. The first thing I wanted to say was these board meetings.
Could you make sure the audience, so we can hear her?
So can everybody?
Yeah. The board meetings
And
with these.
Mike, Frank, can you hear the audience member?
This one's gone.
Well, this is exactly what my comment is. These board members that decide to run for the board and they do not come to board meetings, it's ridiculous. This now is the 3rd meeting in a row that Joanne Andrews is not at. She was missed 4 last year. It is extremely disruptive. You can ask anyone in here for what we're doing here. Trying to take votes while they're on the phone. If you can't come, don't run for the board. I said that last July when people were running for the board. If you can't, and I get it, like Frank's mother's sick. I don't know why, I know Mike's in Florida. But you can't go to Florida for 4 months and not come to board meetings and then keep yelling into the phone while you guys are trying to have conversations and we're all trying to listen. I drove up, we just drove here in the snow. Like, other people are doing what they're supposed to do. If people don't go to whatever your executive sessions are, or whatever it is that you guys do your workshops, and they don't have the information, they should not spend 15, 20 minutes for everything that we're going over to have discussions when you guys are supposed to do that ahead of time. And that's the people that don't come, that's their fault. And this is ridiculous that we have to stand for this and then have people shouting out, screaming, talking on phones. You got phones up to microphones. Nobody can hear anything. They're not at the meeting.
I'm going to say one thing. Thank you everybody in here for coming. I came back from Ohio last night, and I know Sherry came in. I know Pat came in. Dave came in, all out of town.
I drove up and
you
snow this morning.
Mike too. Everybody, we're showing we do it, but yeah. So thank you, Ms. Captain. And I hope everybody understands that this is not a.
Anybody else?
Got something to say?
Yeah.
All right. Hold on.
Hi, Rob Asher, 150 Sitka. You stated at this meeting you're fairing up the field with the dudes, leveling it up.
Yeah.
Okay. I own a house, built on a piece of property that I paid, I'm a member in good standing, and I own a lot next to me, freestanding deed, that I've been paying dues on and saying, what it's been relegated. How are you faring it up by charging me another $1,039? How are you faring it up to me? I am an individual homeowner, but I've apparently been skirting myself. I don't understand you would have relegated this. Serious.
I was the board member who did the lion's share of the research on the dues discounts. They were something in our financial policy that had existed for decades. And unfortunately, we couldn't get some live history from any board member on how they came to be. So we made the effort to look at board minutes going back to the 70s to find out the reason why discounts were granted, what was the motivator. We didn't find anything that said why they were ever granted. We also looked at owner deeds for people who benefit from the discounts. We did a sample of those, and we couldn't find anything in the deeds about this. The next step that we did was a comparison of how Monroe County levels their taxes, whether they grant discounts for, say, non-perk lots, or for, if you own an extra lot, the second lot somehow is priced less tax-wise. We didn't find anything published that indicated that that was the case. What we did find was that joiners benefit from a discount from Monroe County. So with people that make the effort to join their lots, they're entitled to a discount from the county, which we, in our analysis, elected to preserve for existing owners. So people that have joiners, they still get quite a hefty discount off of what a lot owner pays.
I'm not in that.
You're not in the joiner. I get that. But there's another thing, and this speaks to what Wade is trying to communicate regarding fairness. 5 board members, by the way, are paying a bigger dues bills this year because we have lots. And Manny and I were attempting to buy a lot from our neighbor across the street. And as I was doing this analysis, I said, I'm going to give you fake numbers because I don't know what the real numbers are. We figured out that this neighbor who just owns a single lot was paying, say, $2,000 in dues for his lot. Manny and I have a lot next to us for privacy. We don't want anybody building there. And we pay $1,000. So why is he paying for land across the street from us double what we're paying? So the fairness was not there in what was designed. But then in the discussions, and there were discussions with the budget subcommittee, there were discussions here, we've had discussions in this forum, there were discussions with the finance committee. It surfaces that there are many, many things that are not fair about how dues are levied in this community. For example, people that own a modest home far from a lake pay the same in dues as someone who owns a grand lakefront home. Is that fair? Some people would say it's not. People that live here full-time pay the same in dues as weekenders. Can I finish my little analysis? Is that fair? Some people would say it's not. So what I have been proposing, and we haven't gotten it off the ground yet, is to form a committee of owners, because I always looked at this as phase 1. That's how I recommended it to the board. Phase 1 this year, we eliminate the dues discounts, which were, I tell you, a bookkeeping nightmare, an Excel worksheet with 70 rows and all sorts of permutations. To form a committee and have owners come and say, well, what would be a fair way to assess dues? What will make everyone happy? Is that going to happen? Because that's way too big of a task for any board to do. I agree there's a lot of unfairness in how this is done, but we can't fix it. We need to hear from you as to what would be fair. So that's my proposal.
Why wasn't that done?
It is documented. We have extensive documents reviewed by our attorney, which we have not shared, but I recommended to me that we do.
I think we need to give you more information. I think, you like you said, your case, your point.
Her
What is
opinion
it?
is because someone has a better view than the other.
No, that's not.
It's your choice which home you bought. Whether or not it has a
No, I'm
mountain view, a
simply-
Biscayne view of a valley, again, it does not relegate the changing of views.
But the
Because somebody has a
granting-
nicer view
The
and they want to
granting of
try.
the discounts had no rationale. That was our effort. Based on our attorney's recommendation, he said, research your
Here's the rationale
minutes.
right there.
Well, there, it was not minuted.
Hold on.
Okay, so one at a time, who had it?
My name is Bill Davis, live at 127 Wagner Way. Now you're saying you implemented all this, you said this is what we're all going to pay now. And let's have the board members and let's have the residents, the full-timers, the not full-timers, discuss this and bring it up to see what is fair. Why didn't we do that in the first place? Why don't we just say, well, everybody, we're going to pay this now. Everybody's going to pay this now. And we'll discuss it a year from now. That's not how you do things. You have meetings. You have votes. You have discussions. And then you vote again. This is what you do. You just don't say, like the government, we're just going to raise your taxes. We're going to raise them $2,000, $3,000. Then if you don't agree with it, then you can ask for an assessment. We went through this with the county. I went through it. I went down to the courthouse. Half the stuff they said I had at my house, I didn't have. But this is what they said I had to pay, which I didn't. Because then it was found out that they were wrong. But you have to have why have us here bringing up things that concern us as residents first and say, well, you know, we might be raising it, but we're going to discuss all the options now. What really is important to your residents? You do that first. You just don't, well, we're going to raise everybody. You don't do that. This is why we're here, so we can discuss what is on our mind, what is on your mind. That's how you do it. You just don't say, oh, this is what you're paying, you don't like it, tough. Yeah, we'll give you a couple more months to pay the extra. What's the percentage of people that live in this development that are full-timers? My house has been in the family for 40 years. We've never had so much dissension on what is fair and what isn't fair. You discuss things first. I used to go to union meetings. We used to discuss contracts. We didn't just say, well, sorry guys, you lose all your overtime, you lose your sick days, this is how it is. And we're taking $2 an hour away from you. No, you don't do that. It's the same thing. You discuss first before you act. But don't want it to look like, okay, all the extra money we're going to collect this year, we got that. We can do what we want with it. We can get interest on it, bank it, whatever you do. And then next year, we'll bring it up and then vote on it. That's not how you do things. That's wrong because we don't have the opinion and our view of what has been done. It was just done.
I'd just like to say thank you for being very articulate, professional, very calming voice. It's a godsend to sit up here
It's the
and
only
listen.
way you get heard.
You spoke very eloquently, very professionally, very calmly for the audience. If you hear almost like a pin drop in here. Thank you very much for your professionalism.
You're welcome.
Alan? Oh, sorry, Fran.
Okay, Fran Overnick, 174 Sealy. I think one thing that people have to recognize, especially when they buy in to a POA, and that there are rules and regulations. However, it's called ownership. And we all have some sort of stake, whether it's emotional or whether it's financial in terms of an investment, that we have to have respect for ownership. And based upon what this gentleman just said, there seems to be no or little respect for ownership. So therefore, there are things that appear to have been railroaded through this committee, this board. And I can tell you from serving on the financial committee that there were things done with that subcommittee that went beyond what they were charged with. So where's the respect for ownership? That's what I would say that this community has to take a look at, and especially the board. Respect for ownership. Thank you.
Helen Leonard, 107 Sitka. I agree with this gentleman. You had said, well, everybody knows that the rates went up for those that own a lot. I don't own a lot. But you said you went back and you looked at all this information as to why was it done. But then you said, let's raise the dues, which you did, and then you're going to have a committee of people to get together to see what's fair and what's not fair. So like this gentleman said, that should have been done first, and not just with the committee or the board. You should have had everyone that's involved in it. Residents that don't own, residents that own, and so on. So I just feel like the board might have thought that there's a lesser percentage of people that own a lot than those that don't own a lot, so you're not going to get as much blowback. And I feel like that might have entered into the situation.
Go ahead. I ain't going nowhere.
I just want to put in my 2 cents. I'm part of the 6%. My dues have not gone up. Basically, I've got no complaints. And I also want to say that we had 5 board members quit several months ago, half a year ago, and I applaud the current board members doing the bang-up job with so many details. So just from me to you. My husband and I are board members. We're I'm a little nervous. We own a retail store in Manhattan, 86th Street, a craft beer shop, and you honestly wouldn't believe you wouldn't believe what the New York City some of the charges that we get, and it just happens. The main thing is property taxes and insurance also is another one. We got slammed with like $50,000 out of the blue. And we're also, the beer business is on the downside, so we're not making any money anymore. We cannot sell our business either. That happens. It happens with your business, with your assets that you have. They may be worth a whole lot of money one day, and the next day they're not for a lot of reasons, including regulations. Pamela Rice, 1395, right over there, Lake Lane.
Thank you, Pamela.
Good morning. My name's Daniel Sabar, 716 Chipmunk Lane. First, I want to clear up one thing. You said about us being neighbors. We ain't neighbors, because my lot won't perk and I can't build in here. Since 1930, for 37 years. You said about fairness. We redid the dues over fairness. How fair is it for me? My lot backs up the Popgaster playground. You know what that is, don't you? Over there, the maintenance center, that's what I look out the back of my lot that won't perk. How many views, I understand, let me calm down. I understand that some people on the board have extra lots. Do you?
I do not.
5 of us.
Okay. Are they attached to the lot with your house is on? Or are they standalone, separate lots in the community?
Legally separate lots.
No, that ain't what I said.
Adjacent.
Are they standalone, like me? I own one lot. I don't have no house.
No, they're
The lot
adjacent to
won't
our
perk.
homes. They're
It's a
adjacent.
standalone lot. But yet I still have to pay, the same guy got an empty lot from across the lake when my view is Pop Gaster's Park over there. Now, how's that fair? Huh?
I think I've tried to acknowledge that the feedback from the owner group, which is entirely valid, as we went through this process, is that there are many things about how dues are levied that are not fair. And this is something that we need to talk about as a group.
Why didn't you talk about it before you just went wham and slammed everybody?
Well, it was a 4-month and
You know,
In 4 months.
I'm trying to stay calm.
Notify it.
I was a steel worker for 47 years, and coming to these meetings reminds me of going to union meetings. It really, truly does. You know, it really, truly does. Now, here you go. I got a lot, can't build on. I'm stuck here in perpetuity. I can't sell it. You doubled my dues, and don't say you didn't raise dues, because you did. Anytime the fee goes up, it's a raise, no matter what you call it. I could sell you a row home or a townhouse in the city of Chester, whatever you want to call it. You've raised dues. I think, how many of the empty standalone lots, like people like me, home property owners like me, how many of them are there? Do you know? Did anybody look? Did anybody check?
Yes, we have stats.
How many?
I believe there are 22 standalone non-perk lot owners, but I'd have to go back to my work papers to find out the number.
Well, you know, like this gentleman said about negotiations, union negotiations, I was in them too. And you know what? A lot of times things would go, and whether it was management or the union, they'd say, well, how many people is this going to affect? Well, it's only going to affect a few. That's all right. Whether they agree with it or not, they jam it down your throat because there ain't enough people who it's going to affect. It's going to cause an uprising. You know, I just think it's not fair. I was not treated fair as a property owner here. All I have is a glorified swim club membership. I can't go out and go skiing. Used to be a 4-season community. When's the last time it rained? Or I'll give you another break. Or we had enough snow to run it.
Well, now, again, just for me, Jennifer, I'd like to get more information on his account, and also Mr. Baxter. To take an action to give them what it is we look at and what the comparison was. Just for me, you have, I know now you're not my neighbor, but
No.
But you do have 2 lots, right?
One.
You have 1 lot.
One lot that won't perk.
Yes. So that, I'm keying in on that, because if it was last year, there was no change, I thought.
There was non-perk lots
Well, see,
were
that-
raised as well.
That's kind of what upset me. I personally don't know none of these. I've never heard none of you say dues weren't going up. I never heard, all I heard rumor was that people with additional lots were going to lose discount. Well, I'm thinking, well, I only got 1 lot. So how am I going to lose my discount?
That's not the way we have it.
That is what it was.
That's what it was.
That's what we voted on.
I expected to get a bill in the mail. I seen it come. I knew what it was. $600 and some. I opened it up. It's $1,386. You don't think I was upset for a lot that I can't build on?
All right, well, I'm gonna look at that one, and I'm gonna look at the other 2.
Well, I'm going to be kind here. So you're going to look at it?
I just wanted to know.
I think Dave has something to add here.
One of the other things that went into a lot of this decision process, okay, was cost per wristband. Think about that for a moment, okay? I have one lot with a house on it. So round figures, $1,800. I know it's 17, 89, 32, whatever. But we'll just use 18 because the division works better, okay? I get 6 wristbands, just like everybody else here does per lot. Because wristbands are based on lot. So I'm paying $300 per wristband. You're paying $200 per wristband.
But you have a house in here. At the end of
Doesn't
the
matter.
day,
Doesn't matter.
I'm a sundowner. I have to go home.
Please?
Lower voices.
Just like you just got ready to tell me now, you ain't gotta go home, but you gotta leave here. At the end of the day, I gotta go home. I gotta get in my car and drive out of the village. You just get in your little golf cart and go down the street to your house. There's a difference.
Actually,
There's
I
a
drive an hour
difference.
and a half back to my other house.
We have.
But that's not the point here, sir. The point is cost per wristband. For somebody who has 2 lots, your first 6 wristbands cost $300 a piece, just like mine. That's great. On that second lot, which is discounted, you're paying, because you get another 6 wristbands on that second lot. I know this because I have friends of mine that have multiple lots and they've got like 18 wristbands. So when their whole family comes, they can all go to the beach at once. Me, not so much. Actually, not at all. I can't take all 17 of my family to the beach all at once. What I'm getting, and this, again, it wasn't the single driver. What I'm saying is, there's a number of different ways to look at this. And one way is the cost per wristband is now more level.
I wanted to answer that when Steve just said that, because actually,
I don't think so.
What was it?
Keep the wristbands.
Keep the wristbands. Well, the actual
As
state
I was
law.
there,
That's the problem.
yes, you
That's
get
when you
6
charge
wristbands,
$1,000
but like I have the right to go to the office and say, hey, I got 12 people in my family, I want 6 more, and I think you pay, I don't know what you pay, but like $5. So $5 more a wristband, so I could get 12 wristbands for an additional $60. Like, so it's not cost per wristband, I mean, it's cost per house, like cost per lot. Because if I have 20 people, I mean, there's people that have a lot of people in their family. You can go and buy an extra wristband for another $5, not $300 a wristband. So like, I'm not trying, but like that argument, like really, maybe it makes you guys feel better, but that really doesn't hold a lot of water when you can buy extra wristbands for $5. Sorry.
Morning. I just got a few things today, few topics. Bob Christensen, 140 Tommy's. The first thing would be the telephonic communication, people attending the board meetings. I know from being on the board, we always allowed it, but I think you really got to rethink that. Me sitting over here, I have no idea what one person said on the phone. I asked Bill here, did he understand anyone? I asked Fran, and I asked a couple other people in the back. No one understood what any of them said. A treasurer gives a treasurer's report on the phone. Truthfully, all I heard was, I believe we have a surplus. I don't remember what the amount was. I couldn't hear nothing else. So I think you really got to think about that. As Kathy said, Malloy, everyone ran for the board. You know there's 12 meetings a year. You're allowed to miss 3. That's in the bylaws. Okay? So if you want to be on vacation and stuff, before you run for the board, maybe you ought to look at your calendar. Okay? And say, hey, you know what? Instead of going, everyone knows it's third week of the month is the board meeting, except December. Everyone knows, okay, maybe I should go to first, second, or fourth Saturday. I was on the board 11 years. I missed 3 meetings. One because of a death in the family. One because I was in the hospital for surgery. And the second one, my wife and I went away for our anniversary. In 11 years. I made that commitment. Wade, I know you very, very rarely miss a meeting. Sherry, I've seen you go so far out of your way to get to a meeting, it's unbelievable. Tom, same thing, the rest of you, I don't know, you're new on the board. Okay, but I really think you gotta, that has to be taken into consideration. I just don't think it's right that they constantly miss meetings, miss your workshops and everything else.
I have to agree, the workshop, I mean, should have been all avoided, and there's a way around that, and we can handle that. I mean, there's folders, I was trying to say, everybody gets the same information. This was uncalled, it was unfortunate.
But I'm just, bringing up my concerns.
Yeah.
I agree 100% getting that permit for the compactor area and doing what you gotta do. Smart move, you're protecting the village. As far as the lots and charging everyone's talking about what's fair and everything else. Maybe you forgot to look back into the 60s when this place was formed, what the forefathers and what the builder's vision was. I can tell you what the forefathers' vision was because I knew a lot of them. Okay, most of them are gone now. The vision was to preserve land. They knew people would move to the mountains, but they want a little extra land around their house, and that would help keep the value of the communities up, keep the communities safe, and preserve what we have here. I talked to Jeff Hutton the other day, we were talking about lakes and stuff and everything. The biggest factor on those lakes is the amount of people in here, and there's too many people for those lakes to handle. Our beaches right now, when you get there in the summer and they're packed, and you may think I'm crazy for saying this, that water is getting overloaded with suntan and sunscreen lotion, which is one of the worst effects on our lakes. All right, very little spring water goes into those lakes. So we keep packing this place and building. Think about the vision, okay? Not just this is fair, that's not fair. Personally, I would have paid the $100 increase if that's what it would have came into. I wouldn't have had a problem with it. I never, as a board member, had a problem raising dues. 4 times I ran for the board, I said that when I ran for the board. I am not gonna sit here and tell you that I won't raise your dues, because if it calls for it, I'm gonna do it. That's just the way life is. They raise our taxes, because the township needs more taxes. Maybe you ought to think about this gentleman here. He has a lot that isn't worth crap, okay? It's not even worth the soil that sits in it. Offer him a deed back. Offer to take the land off his hands, no charge to him. Okay, now he's out of it. We talked about this last year, it was a hot topic, and evidently it got dropped. Offer people deed backs that have the properties and stuff, so the people who have bare land and they can't afford it no more, or they don't come up here, instead of selling it and putting it on the internet, and someone buys it and somehow puts a house on it where it shouldn't belong, impacts us negatively. Offer that to them. You know what? I know the money's in your budget, but you know what? You're gonna have a surplus this year, just like you did last year, the year before, the year before, the year before. Not one year didn't we have a surplus, okay? Come the fourth quarter, it's pull back on the expenses and everything else. Well, do that all this year, and you'll come up with some money to take those deed backs and relieve them of their dues. The other thing with these lots, Pat, I appreciate the work you did. I know you did a lot of work. But did anyone take into consideration the 70-year-old woman who doesn't have a husband no more? She's on one income. She's struggling to keep that house in Locust Lake Village. She doesn't want to leave that house because of the memories. There's a lot of people like that in here. But they have an empty lot next to them that they bought so they'd have that green space for their grandchildren, great-grandchildren, everything else. You just pushed her out of here. That's what you did. You didn't think about that. I know 3 right now that have said to me, Bob, I can't afford this no more. What the hell am I gonna do? Excuse me for cursing. That's really, you know what? You gotta use this when you're sitting up there. Not just this. I'm sorry. That's the way it is. I mean, you're pushing 2 old ladies and 1 old man out of this village that have been here for a lot of years by doing that increase. You destroyed them. They don't know where they're gonna go. They're gonna go into a senior's living, and they don't know where. They got 2 great-grandchildren, one of them, down in Philly. They're not gonna go to Philly. It's not safe. Sorry, I don't mean to get on a high horse. It's just, very emotional. And the other thing, by doing that, and I could be 100% wrong, and I know you talk to the attorneys, all right? But we're protected in the village as one class of membership. There's not separate classes. By raising dues on only a certain amount of people, now you're making a separate class that you raise dues on. You want to talk to
I'll
the
disagree
attorney
with
about
that. I'll disagree with that. But
Thank you.
That was one of the things that I had as disenfranchising the group. But that was, we looked at that, that's, again, the level set is where we took this.
Okay.
And,
I'm glad you talked
and
about
also, I did talk, yes, and we looked at bylaws, we looked at history, we pulled samplings, we looked at deeds. It's, and, you know, it's, we did some due diligence. This, I didn't take this lightly, so.
Sorry for being so emotional.
No, I'm emotional. Anytime I see something going, prices going up, I don't like it. I think about I don't like anything over, you know, the COLA, but we didn't do anything. We didn't raise anything. It was what? For the normal, the other parts.
But there was a reason, there was a vision for that discount on those lots. That vision was to keep open space here and give people the choice to have some open space next to their homes. I mean, I'll tell you straight out, I had a lot, totally separate from my home. It parked, everything else. I bought it in 2012. I sold it in November. I said, I'm not paying more for that, I don't use it. I was keeping it because of where it backed up to, and I thought it was great for the wildlife and everything else, and it stayed protected. I said, I'm not gonna pay that much more money a year. I sold it.
Okay, let's move on. There was one other.
Can you hear me? Okay. White Pine, I agree with everyone, that, especially you, Bob, what you just said. I'd like to ask the board if they would vote again on the issue about the lots. Too many people are so upset about it. If you could all take that into consideration and vote again on this. Would you be able to do that?
We can take it into consideration. I think, I heard something from me personally today that I missed. So I think we could look at it.
Well, looking at it is one thing, but would you vote on it again?
Only if it means, go ahead.
To think this through, and I think what I have heard from many is that was there enough consideration and conversation, including members in this work? The budget was passed last board meeting. The budget contains the numbers that are related to this particular change. However, we did agree today that we are only going to expect the same dues you paid last year in 2025 to be due by February 27th. So I do think that there is time between now and the 27th if we want to do some reassessment and space there, because no one's being asked to pay this extra amount before the 27th unless they so chose to. I just wanted to note that there is sort of space for that.
Yeah, I just hope that, I don't even have an extra lot. I'm just thinking of the other people that do, and they're paying more than we are. I would have been happy to pay more this year on behalf of those people. Thank you.
I think Bob identified in a roundabout way the elephant that's in this room when it comes to these lots. He was forced to sell. Who's to say that other people, because they've gotten this whopping increase in their dues, that they're going to sell their lots or even their homes? So what does that mean? Well, there's a word called developer. And we know there have been a couple in here already. So therefore, why push people out who want to preserve that green space that was the original vision of the founders? Because this place will turn into a suburb of New York or Philadelphia. I mean, you don't want to live in a suburb of Philadelphia or New York. This is the mountains. So therefore, think before you act. And that is to preserve what this community was originally founded for. Because once Who knows how many other people have put up their lots or even their homes? Because it's getting out of hand. That's it.
I'm going to close the member comments.
Can I say one
Yes.
thing? Just, I wanted to respond to something.
We're still going on, the dues going up and having extra lots and no more discounts. Now, to make it more clear of having a house on one lot and just having another lot with nothing on it, just so that nobody can build on it, should just be like the county. You have your livable space and your unlivable space. Like in his situation, it's not a livable space, so it should not be what a full livable space costs as far as your dues. For that, it should be some kind of discount per se, because you can't live with it. It's just there. Wouldn't you rather have somebody have a lot that's going to take care of it than just have a lot that looks like crap?
Excuse me, that was part of the research that Monroe County does not grant discounts for non-perk.
When they assess your home, you're based on your livable space with your taxes. Same thing.
Same thing.
And they're reassessing again.
He has no building placed on his lot. Why is he paying the same dues as
But
this?
for a lot
that
of
guy?
perks versus non-perk, there's no distinction in Monroe County. That was.
They have buildings placed on their lots. He has an open, empty lot. Why is he paying the same as her, him, them, that have homes on their lots?
He'll never be able to.
They'll never be able to place a home on that lot.
If I had a buildable lot, it would be a mute subject. I wouldn't even be here. I would have had a home on it, and I'd have been living there and been your neighbor.
I got you, that's why I do believe it. I'm only one, but.
Oh, I know, and I don't expect you to change anything this year, honestly. And I don't mean it as being mean or nasty. You set your budget, you passed it. We're gonna live with it this year.
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
They're gonna do what they wanna do.
They're gonna
We have
rethink it.
time. We said that we have a little bit of time.
Yeah, but you know,
Well,
I hope I'm wrong.
well, if we can get the board to take it, we said we'd look at it, right? That's what we said we'd look at it.
Is there a timeline?
The 27th of February.
No. This is what I saw. I'm sorry.
Very busy.
When I always used to bring up at meetings, that if you're going to discuss things, now, when workers are implemented something, they have a timeline to comply. And if they want to change something, they also have a timeline to discuss things. It's not, I was so used to hearing, yeah, well, we're going to look into that. No, we only have a limited time to look into things if we want them changed or corrected or looked at. What is the timeline that the board has on subjects? Is it a year from now? Is it a month from now? Are we going to get updates? When is it that they're going to look at things and discuss it? Or is it just going to be, yeah, we'll look at it and let it go? Until you bring it back up again. I'm not making waves, I'm just asking, do we have set timelines on discussions?
Our next board meeting, we got a
Yeah,
response.
I thought you said-
This at least, my next board
That's all.
meeting.
Yes, that's fair.
I want to make a statement as such.
Would putting any progress we make as a standing agenda item be acceptable to you?
I'm not saying 2 weeks from now.
No.
Maybe start looking into things, so when we have our next meeting, we can have an update on something.
Well, and that's what I'm
We just
saying.
don't want it forgotten about.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, have a standing agenda item that we have to address in each future board meeting until something is ironed
Right,
out.
just like we're doing here now.
Right, and I'm asking if that's acceptable to you.
Yes.
Continue
Okay.
this as old business.
Not just forgotten about and say, well, we didn't
Old
get to
business,
it.
it'll
or
become
something.
old business, but it'll be a new topic, because we talked about it here, we took on the task to talk about it.
Thank you.
So it'll be on the agenda,
Yes.
Right here.
And I would encourage the board, because of the current due dates that have been established, we probably need to really try to have a plan before February 27th, if there's intention of shifting something, because then people are paying things that then we have to reimburse if we were to change stuff. So that was my comment of why the 27th is an important date for me to consider as we think about this.
At least the initial decision on that, if it's gonna be some type of financial, it has to be done by then.
I
Anybody
just
else?
wanted to go back to something that you said, Pat. I know that you said this is just phase one of changing of the lots. I believe it is illegal to charge different amounts for different people because they have bigger homes or they have lakefront or anything along those lines. The way that our dues are is each member pays the same thing. So I've heard that that's what was coming next. Square footage of houses, lakefront, if you're close to a park, like all of these different things. I believe it's illegal. So I really would encourage you to look into these things before you continue down this path.
Well, my only comment was that I proposed a committee to review these things because the feedback that we received as we embarked on the elimination of dues discounts for select owners was that many other things are unfair. So I have not commissioned an attorney to do any sort of legal review.
An HOA goes across, the way that HOAs are written, it goes across the entire membership.
Can't
Period.
separate each house out.
Not
because
like
you wanna do
you
that.
live here full time,
No.
you should
Okay.
pay more, you live here part time.
Again, officially, okay, Pat was being transparent about something she did, it's not on the agenda, it's not, for.
I understand what you said that they were,
Yeah,
it was
I'm just
phase
ma- I
one,
wanna
so I'm
clarify.
just making sure
That-
phase two
that's-
isn't gonna screw us all.
Phase two would be a community-based thing. I think the board has come away learning that, you know, you gotta call everybody into the room if you wanna make a change.
Helen, last one.
All right, Helen.
Excuse me. I wanted to expand on what David said. I think it would be a good idea that after every meeting, when you put the minutes out, maybe you could list action items so we know that nothing gets lost. The other question I have is, do we know how much money is being brought in from this increase on the lots? I mean,
130.
About 130.
130,000-ish, if it comes all, if it was all paid.
And that's all been earmarked for reserve.
All for reserve.
That's not
It's not an
operating
operating expense, right, sorry. I mean, that was in the, and that was in the, I mean, that was in the presentations, and just for the bill back there, Bill, or on, what was the address again here? I'm talking, behind you, the gentleman.
127 Wagner Way.
Wagner,
Yes.
just FYI.
Fifth house on the left with a green roof.
I was letting you know that this was actually brought up, the dues and all, it was brought up in the board meetings in September, October, but the engagement of the community and committees, in hindsight, shoot, shouldn't have. But, so, again, all right, well, now can I close the member comments? Okay. I do think the action items, I think, you brought up a few things, and that's good. So director comments, I'll start with directors on my left.
Thanks, Wade. Thanks for the engagement. Thanks for everyone that came out that's on virtual. Appreciate everyone's energy level and interest in our development. Try to have a nice day. It looks so picturesque out there.
Yeah, I also want to thank everyone for taking the time to come here today,
especially with the weather conditions. And we're going to try to right the ship. Thank you.
I'm really grateful for the engagement, for articulating your concerns. I think we had a lot of really good professional discussion today, and I think that is helpful to help us do the right job from that perspective. And please drive safely wherever you might be going.
Thanks, everyone, for coming out.
What everybody else said, it's the disadvantage of going last.
And then how about anybody online? The phones are dead, that's dead, right?
Yeah.
Frank?
That's mine.
Mike, you're there. You're on.
Yeah.
Well, online, we've talked about issues that we discussed in the executive session that was uncalled for. Not uncalled for, actually, that was against everything. That's why you have an executive session. I mean, if you want to say, fine, we want investigation stuff, fine, but you laid everything out that we discussed, okay, that the investigation needs to do. That was uncalled for, okay, and unprofessional, okay, and I'm discussing with how this thing is being operated. So, have everybody have a good day, stay safe, and I'm done.
And so for me, to all members that are still present and online, it was a tough day, but some things just had to be done, and I apologize for the late notice, but again, there is no law, no notification requirement. It was just a motion and a second, and it didn't have to pass, but there was enough there. So, but everybody be careful going home in the snow. And we'll honor those action items. And believe me, that decision was a tough one for me. So, that's it. I'm asking for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.